Hi, this is John Colo at DiscountJuicers.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. We'll be comparing two juicers that are currently on the market. One is just brand new. It came out fairly recently, and it's the all-new Dash Juicer. I'm glad that companies are making juicers smaller and smaller. I mean, this guy is like a little baby. It's compact. But the question is, will it perform as well as the Shine Juicer? This is my current travel juicer. I've taken this to Hawaii. I've taken this on many trips. I can carry it on the airplane through the TSA. They will allow this. There are no sharp parts on it. It's been completely amazing. But when I saw this guy come out, I'm like, I have to have one. You know, some of you guys, if you're ladies, might collect shoes. Some of you guys, if you're guys, might collect guns or something. I collect juicers and I have one too many. But now I have another one to add to my collection. But the reason for this video is the first time I'll be using this Dash compact juicer to see if it is worth its weight or its price in fiat cash, alright? In any case, it's a slow vertical juicer. It's the smallest juicer that is on the market at this time in the USA that I'm aware of, and it's completely tiny. And so that's really its draw to me. It's like, wow, this is tiny. This could literally go anywhere. You could throw it in your bag, take it. Now, you do need to plug it in. It does have a shorter power cord than the Shine Juicer, which actually I like has a fairly longer power cord. But in this episode, we'll be comparing these two juicers part by part, side by side, and then we'll be juicing even amounts of jicama and carrots to see how long it takes, but more importantly, the yield, right? These juicers, in my opinion, are very specific juicers. You know, they're if you have like an entry-level model juicer and you don't want to juice a whole lot of juice, and or like me, I have a main juicer at home. I have the Omega VSJ 843 that I use at home, which is my primary go-to juicer. But then I have the Shine Juicer as my backup juicer, or my travel juicer, right? In case my VSJ breaks, which is quite rare, I have this to use just in case, and then I also have this literally packed in my roller suitcase so that I could take it when I travel, so that I could continue my juicing regime wherever I am in the world, providing an electric converter that will work on 110, or I've even used this on a battery pack. Check the link down below for my video on how I juice literally on top of a mountain after a long day's hike, and juice on top of a mountain with this and the Blue Eddy power pack, actually, which is quite cool. So this should not replace like a main juicer at home. Unless you don't have a lot of money, then one of these machines might be the one for you. You know, I have sold many Shine juicers as an entry-level juicer to people that don't want to get, a good solid machine. This is probably the least expensive, most durable, and solid juicer with the longest warranty for the lowest price that you will find that I've tested. And it is tried and true, provided you use it properly. Put a links down below in the description to other videos I have made with the Shine juicer. It is supported by Tribes, who's been in business now for over 30 years, making healthy living easy for you guys. This is their first entry-level model in their Shine division, which makes juicing affordable and easy for the masses. All right, so with that, let's go ahead and get in this comparison. So first off, this is the Shine. I think it's the SJV 107, and this is the Dash, and I don't know the exact model number. So both these are slow juicers. I consider them cold press juicers because they literally grind up and squeeze or press out the juice. The pulp comes out the pulp side, which both these guys have a little pulp ejection port over here, and then the juice comes out the juice side, which is right here. They both have a little juice flap. These both come with collection cups that I'll not be using today, that are rather small-ish, and I like to juice in larger volumes. Alright, they both have feed chutes, and actually if we look at it, actually the feed chute on the Shine is just a little bit bigger than on the Dash. So let's go ahead. This is an integrated part. It actually has the feed chute with a removable funnel, and then the feed chute, and then it actually has a built-in screen, which is quite interesting. Meanwhile, over on the Shine, this is just the overall feed chute. I'd say the feed chutes actually, after looking at it, are actually about the comparable size. But the cool thing is, don't tell anybody I told you this, if you took a Dremel and dremeled out the little edges of this, you could actually have a larger feed chute on the Shine juicer. But I didn't tell you that. Alright, next coming out, we got the augers. So let's see, taking this apart. To get this apart, it comes out as one whole piece, and you got to stick your finger at the bottom and literally push up to get the auger out. And look at this thing. This thing is like literally a toy. It reminds you of like an RC car I had back in the olden days. Let's see, pulling this out. And this is a much more substantial auger. So the main part that I'm interested in on the auger is what is the run on the auger. Some of you guys that are into engineering would know what's a run. But basically the run is like how long is the working area that the produce has to get processed in to get crushed and squeezed. In general, the longer the area that the produce has to work down, the smaller and smaller it gets crunched down into, the more efficient the juice will be. So if we just, put these down, it looks like, the run on the shine is a little bit larger because it chunks down smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller so it juices, whereas this kind of goes a more gradual, like chunk, and then crush, squeeze, and then it's ejected. This part is actually fairly light. This is a lot more heavy-duty part. They both have a stainless steel as the center shaft, and then there's a stainless steel inset on the bottom ring so you don't get plastic scraping into the juice if that should happen for any reason. Next, over on the shine, we got this screen coming out on the dash. The screen is actually built in to the housing, which is kind of neat. Saves a little bit of parts and a little bit of design. So I like that. But the challenge on this is that, well, there's a pro and a con. So the challenge on this is that there are actually literally four screens. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 are coarse, 2 are fine. So there's not a lot of screen area. What they could have easily done was basically put screen area all the way around the bottom, which would give it more screen area, which would make it more difficult to clean, but also provide more opportunities for the juice that's getting squeezed out to come out of the juicer. So, if you just want something small, this might be good, but I think based on the design, you're going to give up some yield because literally if these, holes clog, juice can't come out, plus there's very limited holes. Meanwhile, over on the shine, there's lots of area that the juice could come out on the juicer all the way around. So, I definitely like this, but it will also take a little longer to clean. So you got to choose what's better. Waste more produce, have easy cleaning, or maybe have a little bit longer but get more yield out of your produce. That only is the decision you can make. And then finally we got the bowl coming out. This just kind of comes off and this comes off. These are substantially different in the size, not so much in the operation. So they both have a juice flap that you can't put down so that you don't get juice dripping on your countertop and no juice explosions. And then in addition, they both have a rubber flap. So the rubber flap on the dash is a little rubber flap, and these rubber flaps, what they do is they keep back pressure on the pulp as it's getting ejected to keep it inside the machine to get it squeezed out a little bit more so pulp is more dry. So there's quite actually a small hole on here, and this is interesting. So the pulp comes down at the bottom and then it makes a right angle turn and then comes out. So that's a little bit different than I see on most machines that actually they have a straight downward shot to go down and then get ejected out. Which is like that on the shine. The shine has probably the largest hole of any vertical juicer that I've seen. So this means that there'll be less clogging and jamming. I do always recommend you guys pre-cut your produce properly when using any vertical juicer. I'll put a link down below to video made Juice Like a Pro and any vertical slow juicer that you will want to check out so you can learn the techniques for using one of these machines properly. Because if you just use it like most people would think you could use it, just put produce in, shove it in with a pusher, cram it in there, the machine may give you problems. You can cause back pressure on some of the parts and then they will break on you. Oh, and then finally I want to get down to the motor. So this motor is a nice heavy-duty motor. It actually is designed with a cooling fan, a feature not seen in other juicers of this price range. In addition, it basically has a 3-gear reduction system, which basically will make the motor in there more powerful than it is by reducing the gear size and all that kind of stuff, right? In addition, it has triple seals so that the juice, if it should drip on top of the motor body, it won't get into the motor and fail. This is directly taken from some of Tribest's higher end models because they've had experience selling juicers for, geez, probably like 30 years now. You know, and that's why that makes this model better than others. Meanwhile, over on the dash, I'm not familiar how the motor is protected or if it even has a fan. You know, this motor is rated at 200 watts, and the dash motor is rated at 130 watts. I will say again that the Shine juicer does have a 10-minute duty cycle, which means you should only use it for 10 minutes and then let it shut off and rest. Don't try to juice for 15 minutes because it'll overheat and it'll automatically shut off on you. This happened one time when I was in Hawaii, and my friend that I was traveling with was using the juicer, and you know, she didn't juice in the limited amount of time, plus it's a bit warmer in Hawaii. Alright, so the next thing is I got out a scale. We're going to go ahead and zero out the scale, and I'm going to go ahead and weigh out the motors, because basically the more the motor weighs, the more copper in the motor, the more powerful it is. On the dash, it's about 1,025 grams for the whole assembly, and over on the Shine, it's significantly heavier, and it weighs out at 1,958 grams. So literally, you're getting 2 times approximately the motor, you know, with the windings and the power and the strength, and the more importantly, longevity, you know, that you will not be finding in the dash juicer. Alright? Both machines have safety interlocks. That means if you don't assemble the machine properly, it will not work. So we're going to go ahead step by step to how to assemble the Shine. Number one, make sure that little black plug is plugged in. You're going to go ahead and take the top, put it down to the right of this main base plate that comes out. There's a little dot right here, which is where the sensor is. That goes to the right, then you lock this into place. Next, you take the juicing screen. There's a hole in the bottom of the juicing screen that lines up exactly with the outlet port. So you basically drop that in there. It'll drop right in. You then take the auger that kind of goes in and push it down. And then you take the final piece, and it has a little white dot here. You're going to line up the white dot to the left or the right of the open padlock here, and then lock it into place. Once it's locked into place, you can turn the machine on, and actually, it's rather quiet. I think this runs at approximately 60 RPMs. It sounds like low, slow, and mellow. Alright, next let's go ahead and assemble the dash. Alright, so number one, make sure that little black tab is marked in. Oops, and then we could go ahead and drop this part in. Next, we got to take the little dinky auger, drop that in there. Make sure it's fully seated, and then this is the most important part. There's a little tab here on the feed chute assembly that needs to go to the well, I'm looking at it right of the little thing that sticks up on the motor base, and then you lock it into place. It'll click in and stop, and then if you disassemble it properly, it should turn on. So if you listen to that, it's a much more higher pitch. You know, a little bit more upsetting to my brain just because of that. It's a little bit annoying, and it looks like it's maybe running a little bit faster than the Shine, but I'm not exactly sure. There are no specifications, and actually I think that's louder. There are no specifications on the web that I could find for the RPMs of the dash, and I don't currently have an RPM meter to check it out. All right, but in general, slow juicers, you know, tend not to oxidize the juice a lot because they run below 100 RPMs, which I'm confident the dash juicer does. All right. Oh, now before we move on, I wanted to go ahead and take some measurements for you. I got out my micrometer, my tape measure. So the height of the dash is approximately 14 inches. Over on the Shine, it's about 16.5 inches. Let's go ahead and measure the width. The width of the base of the dash is about 4 inches, and the base of the Shine at its widest point is about 5 1/4 inches. So it's a little bit bigger, you know. So, you know, I mean, once again, everything is a pro and a con. If you really have limited space, then maybe the dash might be good because it's, you know, significantly smaller, but the motor is not as powerful. And the warranty is actually only 1 year unless you register it online and sign up for their something or other. Then you get 2 years, whereas on the Shine, you basically just get 3 years from Tri-Vest on any manufacturer's defects on the entire unit. So I think those are the basics. Now next, let's go ahead and get set up for juicing to have our juice off. So now we're all set up, ready to do that juice off, and let's make sure we have a fair fight. So we're gonna do a produce weigh-in first. Let's go ahead and check the scales over on the side of the Dash juicer. Looks like we got 1111 grams, and over on the side of the Shine juicer, also 1111 grams. So we're gonna back up so you guys can clearly see we got 111 on both scales. So let's commence this juice off. Now that we got a weigh-in, we're gonna go ahead and remove the scales off the table. I'll be juicing in the Tri-Best Shine juicer first. That's my normal travel juicer. I'm really interested in seeing how the Dash juicer does, being so mini and having a lot less screen area. I mean, packability wise, that one's definitely going to win because it is smaller, but how much yield will you be losing, or will it make more yield? Well, let's find out. I'm going to go ahead and time how long it takes to juice in each of the juicers for you guys. I'll also be probably needing to pre-cut some of the jicama up. I think the carrot should fit pretty much fine into both machines. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hit the start button. Let's go ahead and turn this machine on and start juicing some carrots. So I like to just drop the carrot in and let the machine work when it needs to work and suck everything in without using a pusher. Once it gets that first carrot through, then we're going to go ahead and put the next one in. So you always want to, give your slow juicer some time to work. We're cutting up this jicama in the meanwhile into smaller pieces. Then we're going to go ahead and drop in a piece of jicama. All these are juicing without any issue whatsoever by the Shine juicer. I think what I will do to save you guys some time is speed this up, and we're going to come back at you when we're all done. Alright, so we're almost done juicing in the Shine juicer. It's pretty much went uneventful. I put a couple carrots in, then I put a piece of jicama in. And once again, not use the pusher, let the machine accept things in. If you're using a pusher, you may be pushing things in too quickly, and you may cause excess stress on the screen, which may cause screen breakage. Alright, finally we got the last carrot going in. And we're just going to go ahead and let it process. It pretty much hasn't stopped the whole time. Once again, the Shine does have that 10-minute duty cycle, so you want to finish up within 10 minutes so that you do not overload or overheat the motor, which can reduce the life of the machine. If you want a more heavy-duty version of the Shine juicer, then you want to get its big brother known as the Slow Start juicer that could run a full 30 minutes and even longer from my testing. Alright, so once we put that last produce item in, once you hear it kind of running free-flowing without anything moving in there, we could go ahead and hit the stop here. And you can see it basically took about 5 minutes to juice in the Slow Start. So I'm wondering if it'll take longer or shorter in the Dash. Now the last thing I like to do after you let the machine run a little bit is I like to hit the reverse button a little bit. Maybe reverse some pulp up and then hit forward again and see if you can get any more juice out. In this case, it didn't yield me anything else, but the one thing I do like to do after I'm done juicing is tip this juicer up a little bit, so gravity could get all the juice and it could get into my juice cup. Next step, we're going to go ahead and juice in the Dash juicer, so we're going to move some of this over. I may need to cut some carrots, and I definitely will have to cut the jicama up. So I guess without further ado, let's get started. Gonna go ahead and hit the start, turn this on. That runs at a lot higher RPM. Let's see if we can drop a carrot in there and if it'll auto feed in. It is kind of auto feeding in, yes sir. But you can hear the motor bog down literally just on a thin carrot. It's not even that thick of a carrot there. Alright, let's go ahead and put another carrot in, and I guess to save you guys some time, we're just gonna go ahead and speed this up, and wow, this thing is significantly louder than the Shine with that high pitch. Oh, and look, this carrot's not auto feeding in, so we will have to give it a little nudge. I think it's because the carrot is too fat, and the way the auger is designed, it doesn't allow easily things to drop in and get juiced unless it's a smaller diameter. Once it gets to be a smaller diameter, then it does, it does juice fine. It does, auto feed in. All right, let's go ahead and speed this up to save you guys some time. Alright, we're almost done juicing in the dash. We got one piece of Hickam and one carrot left, so I thought I'd have you on while I'm juicing those last two items so you guys can see what happens. In general, I haven't had to use the pusher. Things mostly kind of go in on their own. I see a little bit of a backup in the top area. The noise, this is a lot more annoying to my ears than the Shine juicers due to the higher pitch and just like, it's just louder. And then once again, this is that last carrot going in. It's rather thick, you know, and that's handling without issue, but like this bin is already overflowing, whereas this bin never really overflowed. So that'll be interesting. I think the pulp is coming out a bit wetter on this side, on the dash, than on the Shine juicer, alright? So we put that last carrot in, and once again we want to let it run just a little bit longer until the pulp stops flowing out of the machine, which pretty much looks like we're done. We're going to go ahead and hit the stop button. So look at that. It took 6 minutes and 40 seconds, so that took like an additional 1 minute and 40 seconds of juice in the dash. It just didn't feed in as easy because the parts are literally like miniaturized, alright? Once again, we're going to go ahead and hit the reverse button, and there's not much left in the juicer. We're going to go ahead and hit the forward button, and no more juice comes out. And let's go ahead and tip this little guy up. I really like the size on this guy, I can't lie. I don't know how the performance is yet, but the size is cool. The design, maybe not so much. Alright, so let's go ahead and do two comparison tests of the yield. One an unstrained version, and then we'll do a strained version. So the first step is we're going to go ahead and line these up side by side, and you guys can see how much juice each juicer made. Alright, let's go ahead and do a close-up on the yields. First, we'll check the dash yield over on the dash side. Looks like you got right about 500 milliliters of juice. It came out pretty much perfect to 500 milliliters, maybe a tad above 505 maybe, is what it looks like. But look at that. On the Shine juicer, it definitely made more juice. So how much do we make over here? Well, to me, it looks like we made probably like 555 maybe, so like 55 more, milliliters of juice, 555 versus the basically 500. So yeah, it's interesting. The Shine did make a little bit more foam actually than the dash, but the other thing to me is that the Shine juice looks a little bit darker than the juice on the dash. You can't really see it that much, but that's just my personal impression from looking at it. Alright, so you guys saw that the Shine clearly made about 10% more juice. Next, let's go ahead and see how much pulp was in each of the juicers by using a sieve to strain out the juices that were created to see how much pulp went into the juice, because I can't artificially inflate the yield. I am using my fine sieve today. Alright, so the Shine juicer, I'm not seeing a whole lot of pulp. I mean, this is a very low level, although usually at the end and the bottom, when you pour off the bottom, that's where the most pulp is. And of course, that's where all the pulp is, on the bottom. So we're going to go ahead and let that drain down while we pour out the juice made in the dash juicer. A little bit more pulp around the top, and let's go ahead and shake down the bottom and make sure we get all that pulp in. Alright, we got some pulp in there as well. Maybe actually a little bit less than the Shine, amazingly enough. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and shake these little pulp patties down and make sure we get all the juice out of it. So now let's go ahead and give you guys a close-up on the yields after straining. Let's go ahead and look at the after straining yields. Over on the dash juicer, looks like we got, I don't know, I'm going to say 460 milliliters is what it looks like to me. And then if we go over on the Shine juicer side, looks like we got right about, I don't know, maybe 490, 495 approximately, right under 500. So even after straining, the Shine still did make more juice, as you guys can see. Alright, next step, what I want to do is we're going to go ahead and weigh out the pulp patties, how much pulp was generated by each of the juicers. First, maybe I'll go ahead and weigh out the dash. It definitely did have less pulp than Shine, maybe like half as much is what I'm going to say. And that's about 15 grams of pulp total. Let's go ahead and scoop that back in there. And let's go ahead and weigh out the shine. 15 grams versus 33 grams. So yes, about double. And that's basically what I had guesstimated. I'm usually pretty good at this stuff since I've done a lot of these. Next step actually is I want to taste the texture of the pulp. This will let me know how well the juicer is grinding. The better it grinds to the finer particle size, the more it'll break open cell walls and release more of the valuable phytonutrients, in my personal opinion. That's a really nice fine pulp. If you mix this into the juice, you probably wouldn't taste it so much because it's like really fine. Let's go ahead and check the pulp on the dash here. It's more coarse, so it doesn't grind up and release as much phytonutrients, in my personal opinion. I mean, you probably still wouldn't be able to tell that if you just mixed it in there, especially because there is less pulp, but it's more coarse grind. And if we go ahead and look, we could maybe do this too. This would be kind of fun. We're going to go ahead and weigh out these containers that has the pulp in it. On the shine, the pulp that's in this container, including the container weight, is 677. And over on the dash, it looks like I'm just getting kind of, and be aware there is some pulp still left inside each of the juicers. The weight on this is 778. So clearly, you know, this pulp is wetter. If we go ahead and feel this, to me, and let's go ahead and feel this one. Yeah, the shine juicer is a tad bit drier. I'm not going to say it's significantly drier. It's a tad bit drier, and then I want to go ahead and feel up the texture on these guys. Yeah, I mean, I'm feeling it's a lot more wet on this side, for sure. This side, the texture, I mean, I'm going to say that the grind texture is, I mean, fairly similar. I can't say it's much different. Alright, so that's what we'll say on that. And then the final thing I like to do is I like to go ahead and taste test the juices for you guys to see if I discern a taste difference. Once again, these were both made in a slow vertical juicers. This one runs a bit faster than this guy over here. And in my opinion, this guy grinds a little bit better than this guy over here also. So I guess maybe we'll try the Shine Juicer. Juice, Carrot Hikma. Man, that's a solid juice, man. I taste zero fiber. It's almost like a pressed juice at this point after I use a stiv. That's really good. And let's go ahead and try the Dash Juice. Yeah, I mean, I cannot discern any kind of measurable taste difference. This is also a good, nice, fine juice as well. So, how I'm going to sum this up is simply this, right? This machine runs faster, so it literally has to get the carrot in there, has to crush up a grind, get the juice out really fast, and then ejects the pulp so I could keep going. Because the grinding process is just basically grind out versus grind out. You know, maybe it doesn't break up the cell walls as much, and maybe it doesn't give you as much yield. Maybe it puts a coarser, you know, pulp into the juice. Although it did do a fairly good job at grinding, although the pulp was wetter, because once again, there's not a lot of time where it's in the juice to react and go through a screen, because the screen area is so small. So because they should have made screen area around the whole circumference of the screen instead of just the front part of it. I think that was a big waste personally, and that would then they would have increased the yield. So I'm not a fan of the design of the screen or how fast it basically accepts the protein and then kicks it out. I would have probably made this whole contraption taller so it actually had a little more grind time. Whereas because the circumference is larger on the Shine, because it has a lot more screen area, it did a better job grinding, and there's more opportunity for the juice to come out due to the larger screen area and the design. So in the end of this video, what juicer will I declare a winner? Okay, that kind of depends, man. If you just want something small that works, this one is small and it works. I mean, it gets 10% less yield. Maybe puts a bit more, you know, pulp in the juice. Maybe it doesn't get as high nutrition out of the juicer because it doesn't grind up as well as that guy, in my personal opinion. but it's a decent machine. You know, I don't know how long it's going to last. I don't like the pitch of the noise. It was like loud on my ears and seemed more irritating than that guy that runs a bit more slow and mellow. And I just didn't like, it just didn't really grind up things to like really extract it well, in my personal opinion. Meanwhile, the Shine Juicer has a longer warranty, 3 years on the warranty instead of just a standard 1 year that comes with it out of the box. In addition, it did a better job at grinding, made 10% more juice. Of course, it does cost more and is a little bit larger. The other thing I will mention is that, you know, the catch cups that come with the Dash are a lot smaller than that of the Shine. So, you know, I juice in volume, you know, and the catch cups that come with that are just like laughable to me. That's why I always use my own catch cups, because literally I will drink, at this time in the spring, summer, I'll be drinking at least 3 to 4 quarts of juice a day myself, actually. And actually, I'm looking forward to drinking this juice because it's a really good one with the jicama in there. Alright, so I guess in the end of this video, I'm going to have to declare the winner of this video, the Shine Juicer. Not only did it make more juice, not only does it have a longer warranty, not only do I believe it did a better job at grinding, I think it's just a more solid performing unit with a good solid track record. I have seen customers break screens on the Shine, and that's, I believe, because they are pushing things in too quickly and not giving the machine time enough to work. I've actually also broke a screen on the Shine, and Tribez did replace it at no cost to me under warranty. But that being said, that's also, it probably broke when I took the juicer to Hawaii, and a friend I was with was using it, and she was not following my exact specific directions and maybe pushing things in too fast and not properly pre-cutting some of the items. So you do have to baby this. Once again, these are entry-level juicers. These are not high-end juicers. I sell other high-end juicers. If you want to get a high-end juicer, not an entry-level, that will be a lot more durable, last a lot longer. I guarantee it. So be sure to check my other videos for that. If you guys are interested in purchasing this Shine Juicer, I would encourage you guys to support me and my work by making your purchase at discountjuicers.com. This allows me to make these videos, to buy my carrots, to power my lights, to film these videos for you guys so I can continue my mission to share with you guys the power of the fruits and vegetables you can get through juicing, and how you could literally get a lot more nutrients from juicing than you could otherwise eating the produce whole. Be sure to check my other videos. I did a video on scientific studies, link down below this video. You get a greater uptake of the beta-carotene as proven by science, you know, when you drink carrot juice versus, you know, eating it whole, which may be important for certain people in certain situations. So you can purchase the Shine Juicer, link down below this video. For traveling, I'm still sticking with my Shine, but I really want to encourage other companies that make juicers to miniaturize them. Make them smaller, but make sure they're well done, and I'm glad to take your, you know, pre-sample production models and test them and give you my feedback so you guys can improve them before they come out, so next time it actually will beat the Shine. I don't really care who has the best juicer. I just want to know the best juicer that does the best job grinding, gets the most yield, and is going to be most durable, and also have a long warranty for you guys, because that's what I'm about. I want you guys to become juicers for life. So if you guys enjoyed this episode, hey, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Also, please be sure to share this video with somebody else that may be looking for a travel juicer or a low-end juicer so that they can get some juicing done so that they can improve their lives. Also, make sure you click the subscribe button right down below this video so you can get notified of my new and upcoming episodes that have come out every 5 to 7 days. You never know where I'll show up or what new appliance I'll be testing. I think up next is the all-new Tribest Dyna Pro blender that has been redesigned with an upgraded motor from Sweden. So that's going to be really cool. Make sure you click the little bell so you get notified as my new videos come out. And finally, be sure to check my past episodes. My past episodes are a wealth of knowledge. Over 600 episodes at this time on this YouTube channel dedicated to comparing and contrasting all the different major brand juicers as well as other appliances that allow you to get more fruits and vegetables in you, which are the best foods on the entire planet for health, in my personal opinion, and based on the science that I've reviewed. So with that, my name is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for our YouTube visitors.